Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Alice. I do videos about minimalism but in a more sustainable and realistic way. And in today's video, we'll dive right into that because we are going to discuss a few areas of my house that are not that minimal, not that pretty, but they are very sustainable, so they still make sense. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I'm honestly a little bit tired of this super Instagrammable house. I am and I'm not. I mean, I love super pretty feet, but on the other side, not everyone will always have an amazing house all the time. This is just not real people lives. So I thought it could be nice to show you some more realistic and normal parts of my house, just to normalize a little bit the fact that, people have real houses with real lives. So enough with this rambling, let's just get into it. Number one, I could not mention it, and it's the under of my bed. Now, if you know me, you know that I am quite pedantic when it comes to decluttering, and I really try to declutter very responsibly and to ensure that what I declutter gets really either upcycled or resold depending on what the item is and the status. And all this, of course, takes a lot of time, which means that these items stays in my home for a long time. And guess where they are? Under my bed. It's really a mess on there. It really annoys me, but you know what? It does make sense, so I'm okay with it. At the moment, it's slightly better because I just bought a couple of plastic tubs that are decent enough to store like boxes, shipping, packaging, decluttered items, something like this in a little bit more tidier way, because before it was really like an awful mess of random boxes and stuff, and I could never find what I needed. And of course I forgot to make a picture of the before, but it's still messier than I would like it to be as a minimalist, honestly, but fine, makes sense. And if you are wondering why on earth didn't I take a bed that has a drawer that could do the job, well, because at the time I didn't have money and this was the cheapest bed I could find secondhand. So yeah, that's the reason why. Number two is kitchen and bathroom. Now, honestly, there is nothing wrong with my kitchen and bathroom. It's just that they are quite old and really not my style. But we are keeping them as they are for now, at least, because as I said, there is nothing wrong with them. And first of all, this is a rental and we don't know for how long we are going to stay here. And number two, this came completely empty, and basically the only piece of furniture that we already have were the bedroom and the bed, and the couch. So we already had to do quite a big investment when we came in, and because it was an old house, there were also some things here and there that needed to be adjusted or repainted. So basically, in deciding how to prioritize our money, time and energy, we decided to focus first on the part of our house that really needed work. And yes, I know that there are so many channels out there that have great content on how you can make a makeover of a rental for relatively cheap. The problem though is that when you apply that to a full flat, it's really not cheap. Of course, it's less than a full renovation, but it's still not cheap. And in time, if we decide that we are going to stay here longer, then we might start tackling also the parts that are more like aesthetical. And at that point, I think we have, first of all, the advantage of spreading the expenses, so it will be way more manageable than doing everything at the same time. And secondly, honestly, at that point, we will know exactly what we need, because by leaving a house, you start understanding exactly what you need, and you avoid the risk of making a full makeover and then realizing that this is not exactly functional, this is not exactly what you need, and then you have to do that again in a 6-month time. That would be a huge waste of money. So that's what we are trying to avoid. I think it's quite important that we stop thinking that we need to have everything immediately, and accepting the fact that sometimes it can take time and some part of our house might not be super perfect. Number three is all my drawers organizers. Now, honestly, it really pains me to say that this is ugly because I'm very proud of myself for this idea, but I do acknowledge that they don't look great. So point is, I do love to have organizations also inside my drawers and cupboards, because I like things to have a specific homes and not roam around. It makes so much easier to find them. The problem is that organizers can be very expensive and also can be quite difficult to find like the organizer specifically for your drawers unless everything comes from IKEA. And at the same time, I had a lot of boxes lying around from shipping and stuff like this that I didn't really want to get rid of because they could be useful for when I finally sell all my decluttered items. So basically realized that I could solve two problems in one go and use those shipping boxes as organizers in my drawers. And in this way, I got free organizer, I found a place for the boxes, and if I'll ever need to ship something, I have a box ready instead of having to buy something for it. And I am upcycle something instead of throwing it away. So it's really a win-win all the way through. And since I realized that basically all my organization system are upcycled something, like from old mugs to baskets, like you name it, I reuse it as an organizer. And yes, they're very mismatched. Some of them are cute, but generally speaking, they're very mismatched. They're not particularly nice, but I absolutely love them. And next is trash, and there is a lot to unpack here. So number one is glass. Belgium has a very efficient glass recycling system, but it can be quite complicated because part of the glass can be brought back to the shop and they will clean it obviously and then reuse it. And then the rest needs to be divided between clear and colored glass, and they need to be brought to a specific collection point, which obviously it's very far from our home and completely outside our regular routes. So basically we accumulate glass until we arrive at a point that it makes sense for us to go till there and throw it away. And as always, I'm using a royal way because my boyfriend does that. And the next and final point trash-wise is all the rest of the bins. Yes, we have 3 cute mini bins in the kitchen, but not be fooled. This is not all our trash. Fact is that, again, the city hall has specific rules. You can use only specific bags that obviously are very big. And thankfully, as a testament to our efforts, we take actually a very long time to fill them, which means that they smell and they create a lot of mosquitoes and disgusting flies and things like this. So to avoid to have all of this in our home, we put it outside the window. So you don't see them, but they're still there and they are still disgusting. So yeah, they exist. And finally, again, it's not really something that is ugly. It's probably just not the ideal, minimal and sustainable cupboard. I have what I call the cupboard of shame, which is the drawers in which we put all our plastic box that we upcycle from delivery, from ice creams mainly, from other things, and we do reuse them. And this is also why we actually don't really have a lot of very fancy like food storage thingies, because we reuse the plastic tubs as much as we can. And personally, I arrived at a point in which I prefer, if you have to deliver something, that I prefer food-wise, that they send it in a plastic tubs instead of the paper one, because fact is that the paper ones can't really be recycled, because to avoid them soaking they have to basically line them with plastic, which means that they are completely unrecyclable and they can't even be reused many times, because after a while they will start completely sog and it will be useless. So at that point, at least the plastic tubs can be used like a really long time. And after that, they can be used as an organization, because it's me. So yeah, that's, I don't know, let me know what you think. I think that a lot of people would think that paper is better, but yeah, I arrived at a point in which I almost prefer plastic. I obviously would prefer a different option, but you know what I mean. So these were my pick for today. I hope you had a lot of fun with me. It was really meant to be funny, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know with a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to my channel so that you know when we can make fun of me together again. And until next time,